It's a
just
joke.
wrap it around
Yeah.
like that.
That's one way you can stave off depression.
Gosh.
And then you'll just feel depressed like 5 minutes later.
I wrote it down, and then for some reason, I got on Crunchyroll, which Cole also said in the episode.
Explicitly said not
He
Crunchyroll.
said in the episode, it's not on Crunchyroll, it's on High Dive.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Life is Daijoubu, episode 77. My name is Cole, and always I am joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Thane. What do you got for us today, Thane? Give us something.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, that's Thane. And I'm also joined by a man who wishes he was golfing, Mr. Skyler.
I do
It's
wish.
raining outside though, so
There it is. That's. The man
Freaking
took,
roasted
he
you,
took
bro.
the words out of my mouth.
He freaking just like, boom!
He had more to say during my segment than his own.
This is a show about anime. We talk about anime. We talk about the news in anime. We talk about the seasonal anime. And, of course, this episode we'll be talking about Kino's Journey, the 2003 series.
I got a journey to tell you before we get into Kino's journey that I went on. But that's for later.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to do it right now because you said before. I guess we'll do it right before we talk
Yeah,
on the show.
Yeah,
All right,
I'll
cool.
talk about my journey with Kino's journey.
So look forward to that around the halfway mark of the episode. We'll be talking about Kino's Journey, the 2003 series, and maybe we'll slip in a little bit of that 2000 and I think it's 14, 13, 15 series.
12? Maybe?
The remake. We'll be talking a little bit about the remake. No really spoilers. Maybe a little bit. We might do a little segment where if you've seen both, you might get a little bit of extra bonus out of it. Regardless, we'll be talking about that around the halfway point. But before we do that, let's quickly run down the news, and then we'll get into some seasonal shows and move on from there. First up, I've got a couple talking points, but I want to run through all of the anime adaptations first, just because we always do that. All right, moving into that, we have there is also a hole in the student organization. Getting an anime. What is this?
I'm going to say anime original.
this sounds like a Classroom of the Elite type show, maybe a light novel.
You guys are both incorrect. It is a manga.
Dang it.
But I do like where Thane was going because that does sound kind of like Classroom of the Elite. Next up, Roll Over and Die is getting an anime.
Sounds like a manga.
Manga.
This one had novel and manga listed. I'm assuming novel first if I had to guess, but it literally had them both listed, so I put them both.
Is that typically how that goes?
Mixed
Novels are written first and then a manga
mixed
adaptation.
media project.
A lot
maybe.
of times, yeah. It could be a mixed media thing, yeah. A lot of times it is. They kind of do go light novel then manga. But I don't know. If the light novel gets an adaptation to an anime, it's almost guaranteed to get a manga as well, just because a lot of these companies just see it as free money. All right, next up. This is going to be the hardest one to guess. Ready? Easygoing territory defense by the optimistic lord. Production magic turns a nameless village into the strongest fortified city. Good luck. I told you it's the hardest one to guess.
That's like 25 words in a title. I'm going to say dark novel.
I'm gonna
I
say
hate
it,
you
a theme park ride.
Yeah, they're correct. It's the theme park ride, specifically from the
Universal Japan.
Universal Japan, yeah.
Went an interesting direction with that.
Of course, it's a light novel. Yeah, not much else to say.
There's not an anime theme park, is there? Anywhere that
Closest thing
existence?
is Universal
Yeah.
with their crossovers.
They've done like Attack on Titan and Hunter x Hunter stuff before.
They did a Death Note escape room, which was interesting.
But there's not like a specific anime-only theme park where it's just a bunch of animes.
No.
Do you have to write your name in the death note and then say that you die by getting shot if you don't finish the escape room?
No, I saw it's like you just have to like there's stuff like there's one I saw like a giant screen. You just have to enter the codes and then I think they're reconverted into a Resident Evil escape room. So it's
That's cool.
It's kind of a thing.
So they don't have like the guys just sitting there
Yeah.
waiting for the timer to
Yeah.
go out to fulfill the death note to make sure
Yeah.
it's legit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they missed opportunity.
Missed opportunity. That sounds like a golden freaking marketing scheme.
Yeah.
I'd go there because it's a win-win. You either.
Oh my god.
I mean, carry on.
Okay. I'm not even going to give you guys the guessing on this one because it's
Another 25-worder.
no, it's also just very easy. Maybe I don't know. We'll see if you guys know what it's from. All right, the Ninth Jedi.
Star Wars.
Do you have a specific thing from? Because it does go into a specific thing if you can kind of guess it.
The Ninth Jedi. I don't know. Is it a video game adaptation?
Nope. Any guesses, Thane?
So there's a book.
That's, I mean, maybe a little bit closer.
Yeah.
No, but it is not. It is, you remember Star Wars Visions when they did like those one-off episodes?
Yeah, oh yeah.
This is one of those episodes. They're going to turn it into a little mini-series.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep. And they also announced Star Wars Visions Volume 3 as well. And this one will be animated by Japanese studios again, where Volume 2 was like studios from around the world. I think like the Wallace and Gromit studio did one as well, for example. Hardman, I think they might have done one. All right, next up. We got Mistress Canon is devilishly easy.
Manga.
Sounds like a light novel.
I forgot to write this one down, but I'm pretty sure it was a manga. I'm pretty sure it was a manga. All right, last one. A Witch's Life in Mongol.
Manga.
Manga, I guess.
Yeah, it's a manga. You guys are both right.
Mongol.
Mongol?
Like Mongolia?
Oh, Mongolia.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's going to be, that one is actually interesting because it'll be animated by Science Saru. They're one of the heavy hitters that I saw.
Is it like a comedy or like a more serious?
I don't know anything about the actual series. I just saw Science Saru. I guess one more thing to point out is that I do know the studio is the Ninth Jedi was originally done by Production IG, so I'd be surprised if it's not them doing the little series. So it's probably going to be them.
Well, one of Production IG's last things was Uzumaki, and I don't know what happened with that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe they picked up the Star Wars license and said, we're going to make money off of this instead of this Uzumaki stuff. So let's do it.
They made episode 1 with Uzumaki and then got the Star Wars thing. And they're like, yes.
They're like, we made money now. Get rid of this Uzumaki. We don't care.
Yeah.
That's sad. Hopefully that's not what it was. All right, next up, I got talking points of, I guess you'd call them news. The first thing I want to talk about is, do you remember how excited I was for that little Yu-Gi-Oh anime series they're doing? Well, I still like it. It's not quite what I was hoping for it to be. They released the first episode, and it was about a 4-minute long little clip. Essentially retelling one of the things they've already shown in that little Master Duel animation thing, but in a different setting. It wasn't just reusing that animation. It was an entirely new animation retelling the same little plot. So while I am not the most happy, I can just be kind of happy that we're getting something, I guess.
It could be the gateway drug.
Could be. Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
That was the same thing that happened to me with the Licorice Recoil short films.
I literally have them side by side in my notes.
It's like literally, it's like, oh, we're gonna get a little short film. Like I thought, like maybe 30 minutes, 2 minutes.
I was under the impression that we were going to get a little extra episodes, maybe like 10, 15 minutes for Licorice Recoil. It's just little shorts. They're like maybe 2 minutes, 4 minutes here.
So is that the thing? Like I looked at Annie List and your deal popped up and it said you watched Licorice Recoil. I'm like, whoa, what? And then I remembered the clip thing, so I was happy to hear that. Well, I'm not happy to hear that it's but I feel like I'm not missing out on anything now.
I'd still give it a shot.
Have them all, you can like in like a I think 4 weeks you can literally
I'll
go
just
in there
binge it
and
when
just
you
watch them all. Like
I think there's going to be
15
6 of them.
minutes. Yeah.
So there's already 2 out. So in 4 weeks, like Thane said, you'll have like 20 minutes worth of animation probably.
Yeah, let's just binge them when they're done then.
Yeah. And I've seen them both so far. They're just little like...
They're like deleted scenes.
Yeah, that's really what they are. They're just like deleted scenes from the episodes they didn't have in there. I mean, they're still fun because it's Licorice Recoil.
Right.
But it's nowhere near what we had hoped. But, I mean, granted, hopefully, like you said earlier with the Yu-Gi-Oh one, maybe it's like more things to come.
Right.
Anyway, I just wanted to express my hope and sadness for the Yu-Gi-Oh just because, like, I know they're doing the story that I care about the most after the one they're doing right now. So like, I hope it's just longer than 4 minutes per episode because that's a lot of story to tell in that one.
It's like that Star Wars clone. Remember the Clone Wars?
Yeah,
Before
the
Clone Wars
OG one.
Yeah, Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, they're both.
That one actually, okay, so the reason why people, as well as myself, were more disappointed about this Yu-Gi-Oh! One is that there really wasn't any story substance to it. It was girl shows up, puts on mech suit, fights other girl in mech, pulls girl out, and she goes, "Are you okay, Rose?" And that's literally the end of it. You don't even know the main character's name until the very end when they shows the card of the main character. Like, they don't say the main character's name. You don't have any context for the story.
So it's definitely for Yu-Gi-Oh fans.
Yes.
Then.
Yeah. If you were to watch this, you would have no idea what the freak's happening. Like, why are they fighting? What's going on? Honestly, Yu-Gi-Oh players wouldn't know why they're fighting because they don't really know the lore. They don't really talk about the story.
Yeah, uh-huh.
And then I guess the final nail in the coffin as to why I'm slightly disappointed is the one they're doing is the Sky Striker lore right now. And there's a manga for Sky Strikers. Like, they actually put it into a manga. Why not just adapt the manga and call it a day? Like,
right.
I don't freaking know. Animation looked fine. Like, it was cool. It was basically like a reel of that Leonardo DiCaprio. We go, up, that's the card. That's the one card. Like, oh, she did the what is it? The pose of that one card. Oh shoot, there it is. That's the card. That's literally all it was. Just a comic reel of that's it. That's the
It's
card.
a little disappointing.
Yeah. And so if they do the one that I really care about like that, I'll be even more disappointed. Especially
tough.
because there's so much potential.
Yeah,
There's
that's
so
tough.
much potential, and they're just kind of dropping the ball. All right, last but not least, more more sad and depressing things. Let's talk. Like, I shouldn't frame it like that because it's just first world problems, really, and it's the beginning after the end. I wanted to talk about that because I am very disappointed about that as well as a fan. Thane, were you even going to give this one a shot, beginning after the end?
From what I heard, no.
Do not give it a shot.
Okay.
If you ever are curious
I
about
watched
it,
the trailer a bit. It's like, yeah, this doesn't look good.
if you're ever curious about this series, give the comic a read.
I mean, I will admit the trailer did try to hide stuff, but I didn't even look up like what that stuff was. Like, I haven't even looked up the memes of all of it yet, but maybe I will just for a laugh.
Yeah.
And be like,
Honestly, it's a good laugh. It's a good laugh without context. You go, oh shoot, that's funny. But then you think about all the people that like were excited about it and you go, wow, sucks to be you losers. I'm over here sitting with my solo leveling adaptation and you guys got this garbage.
That's so sad because how many people are going to get turned off from ever even trying the
So
comic?
many people. And they don't frame the story like it's exciting or interesting at all. It's basically just like, right, okay, cool. There he is, little
Wonder how
baby
the-
walking around
wonder
with a
how
big head.
Here's a slideshow. May as well
Wonder
read
how
it.
the creator feels.
People have like talked to him or something like that. He's like talked online, and I don't know if he's given his true thoughts because he's kind of like keeping like a lot of like things close to his chest the way it seems. I don't know. It just seems
Yeah,
like maybe
is it-
they picked a cheap
it's-
studio
yeah.
just because they didn't have money to do it.
Thanks, Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
I know that like I looked it up. It said it's based off an American novel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
American novel.
Yeah.
The comic is one of those weird online comic websites where somebody can like get the rights to do a novel and then like they make it to a comic. It's a really, really interesting situation. So the fact it's even getting an adaptation is really strange, just in general. The studio they chose was mostly known for 3D animation. And they don't use 3D animation in the series other than like an animal here or there. And so that's partly why it looks bad because they don't even know how to do normal animation, it seems.
That is mind-boggling.
If you're unaware, I'll explain a little bit of what it looks like. So you have a comic book, right? And it shows the fight scene. You see the dude pull out the sword, the other person pulls out the sword. They get ready to fight, and they do all the whole stances and stuff like that. Maybe one of them's got a special pose or something like that. And that's the comic book. This anime is, all right, the guy's getting ready to pull out the sword. It cuts to the other guy. It cuts back. He's already got his sword out. He's not doing any stances or anything like that. And then they cut, and then you see him go, ah, ah. And then all of a sudden, the battle happened, and you don't even get to see the battle.
But you get to see the final pose afterwards with the explosion.
You see the final explosion. Well, it's a picture of the explosion. It's not the explosion. Let's be honest.
Sounds like a independent production. Like, guys, we're gonna make a anime.
You'd think, but even independent productions look better than this.
Independent productions actually have passion.
Well, didn't you say that you saw some re-edits that people made that looked better than...
So I've seen edits that people took the comic and edited the comic, and it looked better than the anime. Because the comic has more frames than the anime.
Yikes.
Yeah. I've never wanted to describe an anime as a PowerPoint presentation until I watched this show. And Skylar, how many episodes did you watch? You watched 2 or did you watch 3?
No, I watched 2. I remember watching episode 1 because you were telling me, you're like, yeah, this is a really cool story now that it's getting animated. You should check it out. Because I've had it on my read later list for like a year now. And I watched episode 1, fell asleep about 3/4 of the way through because I'm just like, what? This is boring. Like, what am I watching? And it was a slideshow. And then I finished watching. I went back, rewatched it. Then I watched episode 2. I'm like, this is bad. I was not having fun. And I didn't want to taint my opinion on the story with this, so I just stopped.
Yeah, it's probably good you stopped. I'm going to keep watching it. There's 24 episodes in the core, or 2 core. So I'm going to watch them all. I'll let you all know as I progress and tell you if it ever gets better. I highly doubt it ever will, especially after a more recent episode. So episode, I think it was 4 I just watched. They did a cliffhanger on episode 4. So I'll give you guys the context just because it doesn't matter. It's not really spoileristic. He gets separated from his family, and he stumbles across this little elf girl that's being kidnapped. He saves the little elf girl, and he's like, all right, I got to get you back to your home or whatever. So they start walking back to the home. They get back to the village, and the elf people are like, oh my gosh, who are you? You took the princess or whatever. He's like, no, I didn't. And they grab the main character kid, and they're like holding him like tight, like, we're gonna freaking like do something, because you took a princess. And then they cuts the little girl, and the little girl gives a look of like, how could you? And I'm just all like, that is not what they did in the comic at all. You guys just did this because you wanted to have a cliffhanger to make it look like a tense situation. They did accuse him in the comic of taking her, but the little girl instantly went, no, we're chill. He's cool. And that was that. So, it's literally just because they wanted to end of an episode on a cliffhanger so they can get people to keep watching it.
It's a yikes.
There could have been better ways to do that. They accuse the guy. They pull out the sword.
Yeah, don't even have the little
and
girl
that's
say
where it
anything.
ends.
Don't even cut to the little girl.
Yeah.
Don't even need to give this false impression of what this little girl's doing. Yeah, it's a very unfortunate tale of an adaptation. I have heard many woes of adaptations people have had in the past, and now I feel your pain. Very rarely have I had bad adaptations of things that I've enjoyed. Literally, I got into Frieren, got really into the manga. I got into Dandadan, thanks to Thane, got into the manga. I got some of the best adaptations I could have ever asked for.
With Zom 100?
Zom 100's adaptation was phenomenal. Like, I've been, like, really lucky.
Mushoku Tensei?
Granted, I got into that from the anime. But
right.
Still, regardless.
Right.
I'm doing really good on my adaptation, list. This is the first one that's really been like, wowzers, this is what it feels like to get a bad one. Holy cow.
My introduction was Seven Deadly Sins because I think it was season 2, Thane, or was it season 3 that was done by JC
I think
staff?
it was season 3.
Anyway, it was fine. I enjoyed the first couple of seasons. It looked fine, and then JC staff took over for a season. I'm just like, what am I watching?
Yeah.
Yep, I now share the pain of everybody, especially like the Tower of God people, because they also had a bad adaptation for season 2.
Yeah.
What's funny though is the Tower of God people on Reddit are being like, "I'm sorry, guys, you guys got it worse than us.
They got it worse.
You guys got it worse than us."
Oh
Man.
Honestly, though, I do like the story. So if you have any interest in a cool reincarnation story akin to Mushoku Tensei, like, I don't know, like, the time frame of when these when the novels were being released or whatever, but Like, I think they've probably been going on for almost 10 years now, so I don't know how much inspiration from Mushoku Tensei there would have been if, like, they were reading the web novel or whatever. If they were, it's apparent that there's some inspiration from there. If they're not, it's crazy how similar some things are. Regardless, like, I'll give you the rundown. I'll give you the pitch so to get you guys interested. The world building's really cool. They actually have cool magic systems that's in-depth and explained, and the reincarnation aspect of it actually plays into the story as well as like the characterization of the characters in the cast. It's really neat. It's really cool. The cast is all pretty sick. Like, I'm a big fan of all of them. Like, there's not really like any members of the cast I was like, this guy just sucks, let's get him out of here, unless they were specifically trying to fill the role of this guy sucks. And then the final thing is just like, you also get those freaking like epic like solo leveling moments of like, yeah, dude, my main character's a bad A. Like, you get that stuff too. It's literally like the perfect shonen for anybody, or the perfect isekai for people who like shonen, more or less. Give it a shot. Give it a comic read. I would never give the anime a shot anymore. Like, if you're interested, if you have any interest, don't even bother with the anime. It's not worth your time. Unless you just become a big super fan, then you want to watch it.
After watching that anime adaptation, you're going to need a shot of antidepressant. I don't know.
Dudes.
Good job. And
you don't take antidepressant with this. You take it in pill form. I know. It's
just
a joke.
wrap it around.
Yeah.
Like that.
That's one way you can stave off depression.
Gosh.
And then you'll just feel depressed like 5 minutes later.
So with that, let's talk about our seasonal shows. I know I kind of gapped about one of my seasonal shows for a while, so I'll let you guys have the floor of something you guys would like to talk about if you have anything.
I have one thing that I think we should do with the first episode of the podcast going into the season is I think we should say all the anime we are watching just so people know.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then we
Don't
can just
have
pick,
that up here.
we could just pick one that we want to talk
I don't
about.
have that
Do you
up.
have like a list of like your shows you're watching thing?
I guess I do have it on.
Mine would be
chart.
on any list. I have to pull or any chart.
I can go first because I've already got mine here. But so I had the beginning after the end, but I dropped that one already. And then the other ones that I'm watching, I have another one called Apocalypse Hotel that I gave it the 3-episode thing. Dropped that one.
Really?
Yeah.
I've heard people like that one.
I just don't know if it's for me.
Fair.
It's just robots taking care of a hotel, and then they just have crazy guests that come in. And
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's what every episode's going to be.
I see.
So, I mean, it's like a slice of life.
Yeah, that makes
So-
sense.
Okay, so I've got Rock is a Lady's Modesty, Lazarus, Devil May Cry, Apothecary Diaries, which is carryover, To Be Hero X, and then Kowloon Romance. So I've got those 6 that I'm watching with the 2 that I dropped already. Maybe if I get the inkling to go back to Apocalypse Hotel, like if people are still graving about it, then I would go back. But yeah, those are the ones that I'm currently watching.
Fair. I'll run down my list. The first one I want to put out is Moonrise. I have that on my list because it was technically this season, but it was dropped all in one go from Netflix. And it's an anime original by Wit Studios, so I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I was going to watch it. And then I started hearing bad things about it. So, I don't know. I'll probably give it an episode or 2.
I've been watching it. It's very mid.
Oh, okay. So
I'm gonna finish it.
you're gonna
though,
finish
see how
it?
is.
I'll give it a shot probably.
It would
just to
make a
see.
better video game because they have these suits and they start zipping and jumping around. It's like I would rather play a video game of this. This looks cool
Yeah.
for a video game, but as a show, it's like a Michael Bay movie.
Technically, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card Game Chronicles is on this list. I have Lazarus on here. I've only seen 1 episode so far. It was fine. I didn't really get sucked into it, but I'll keep watching with that one. To Be Hero X. That's the sleeper hit of the season, guys. Just letting you know. Next one is I left my A-rank party to help my former students reach the dungeon depths. That's carryover from last season. It's garbage, but I'm very into it. Kowloon Generic Romance. I've not watched any episodes, but these guys convinced me to watch it. So it'll be watched at some point. Apothecary Diaries Season 2, carryover from last season, still peak. Can a boy-girl friendship survive? Did you say you're watching this one?
Uh-uh.
Oh man, it's a fun one. I did not expect it to be this entertaining. It's a good little rom-com. If you like rom-coms, that's probably the one for the season, if I'm being honest. Pokemon Horizons, the series, we just got the time skip. It's freaking peak. You guys suck for not watching it. I'm just going to let you know right now. You guys are terrible people. Because you're not watching Pokemon.
Well, I would, but now it's like 100
it's like 90
episodes.
episodes. I don't blame you anymore. The beginning after the end, you heard my spiel. Licorice Recoil, Friends Are Thieves of Time. Those are the shorts. Mobile Suit Gundam G-Quex. I'm 2 episodes in, so I'm 1 behind. It's a retelling of the original series in a way, shape, or form.
It's a alternate universe.
Yeah, alternate universe. I don't know how I feel about it yet. I'm kind of just watching it because of robots.
In episode 2, they had a flashback of the alternate moment. You didn't even really watch the show because it kind of outlines it for you pretty well. But they had the original music, and when characters something's approaching, like a spider sense, have a little lightning bolt coming out of it. It's like, wow, that is very 70s.
They're definitely hitting it on the nose, and the animation style looks kind of like the 70s every now and then too.
Yeah.
Next is the Shiunji Family Children. That's the freaking Rented Girlfriend Reggie manga or
Horny.
anime. Just straight up horny, the anime. That's going to be a garbage one, I think. And the last one is, I have not watched any episodes of it, but it's on my list. It's Zatsu Tabi, That's Journey. I've not seen any episodes. This might be a 1 episode and I drop it kind of thing. We'll see. That's my list.
One show I did drop is called Your Forma. It's just, I know you guys aren't into Standalone Complex or Ghost in the Shell, but I am. And I think it's Ghost in the Shell, but no enthusiasm. Very lack of enthusiasm and lack of good animation, too. It's just very stiff animation. It's like Standalone Complex, but boring. You guys think you should still watch Standalone Complex. It's very good. I like that show. And I'm hyped for the reboot coming out, which is you might guys like that because it takes the 80s manga and they're pretty much adapting it 1 for 1 from Science Saru, and that one's a bit more over the top action. Shows I've got Anne Shirley, which is another adaptation of Adam Green Gables. Bye Bye Earth season 2. It's trash, but I still watch it. I'm gonna watch the whole thing.
I love trash.
Yeah. If there's one trash show I gotta watch, I picked that one. Then I got Fire Force. I finished season 1 recently, going on to season 2, and then probably have season 3 done. And season 3 is not the full thing. They're gonna do it later in January. It's splitting it in 2.
I see.
Because season 1, the middle of season 1 was pretty rough animation wise. And then we got Kowloon, Lazarus, Licorice Recoil, Gundam, Rock is a Lady's Modesty, Summer Pockets, which is a Jun Maeda key visual novel.
Oh yeah. I'm kind of interested in that one. Let me know if you start liking that one a lot.
Then Sword of the Demon Hunter, which is a samurai demon hunting type show. Then I got Apothecary Diary. Well, that's a carryover. Then I got Windbreaker Season 2, which Windbreaker has some of the best fights. It's just fighting. And
that's
it's great.
carryover too, right?
No. Windbreaker is Season 2.
Season 1 was a while ago.
Yes, it was a while ago.
So I remember you raving about season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I was almost 9 months ago now.
It's like people said it's like Tokyo Revengers, but the main character's not a pussy or something.
I have seen most of Tokyo Revengers. I can get that.
Yeah.
I guess if I had to pick one that I think everybody should watch, as of right now, I agree with Cole. To Be Hero X is incredible. It is in my head on par with the animation of League of Legends. What's that called?
Arcane.
Arcane was incredible. Dude, this thing is on par in my head with that. It's very similar art style, but the animation is awesome and the story is super cool. The music is great, and I'm only 3 episodes in and I'm loving it,
But
dude.
whoa, Sky, whoa. We're not allowed to talk about that because it's not an anime.
Oh, the r/anime.
R/anime banned discussion of To Be Hero X.
Oh, dude.
It's from Asia.
It's because they just don't they don't want to admit that other studios outside of Japan can make bangers.
Well, what's crazy is I'm pretty sure we discovered that the studios in Japan are helping out with episodes here.
I think Mappa was on there.
Yeah. Because the show does interesting things where it goes from that 3D art style to like the 2D every now and then. And like it's pretty clear that other studios are helping out with that stuff.
Imagine banning Peak from a discussion board.
Is it also off Mal or is it on Mal?
I don't know about Mal. It's on
okay.
any list though. I don't know about Mal. I'll check Mal just because now I'm
I
curious.
remember the Scott Pilgrim Mal debacle.
I bet Devil May Cry's not on there either because
Yeah.
Castlevania wasn't.
Yeah, that's like they consider it a Western animation, so that's a weird.
What did you just say? Anime?
Sean? Yeah.
Sean?
No, To Be Hero X is on Mal.
God.
So it's just r/anime being dumb.
Yeah.
r/anime should ban
Typical
themselves.
Reddit moment.
Typical Reddit moment, bro. Freaking get them, bro. Get them. You guys suck.
I wonder if there's a.
It's just the mods though, because all the people are like,
Yeah.
I remember people in this like somebody posted episode 1 discussion, and then like they're chatting about it, and all of a sudden the mod said, "All right, this is deleted," and everybody starts downvoting that post and like yelling at them, like, "You guys suck."
Yeah. It's so stupid. It's like it would be hypocritical. It's like, hey, you let us talk about link click.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the same director as Link Click. That's why I got into
If
it.
they did
Oh,
talk
it's
about
freaking
link
good.
click, then what?
I wasn't even going to watch this, but then Cole told me to watch it after episode 1, and I'm like, this is my banger for this season.
It's so good.
As of right now, this is my number 1.
It's so good, bro. Oh, the
guess I'm
freaking
gonna have
power
to
system's
watch-
so cool and unique.
You guys are
yeah,
gushing
so
about it.
unique.
I'm gonna have to watch it now.
I
you would like
say,
it more than us, I
yeah.
think, even.
Okay, I will give it a try. You guys have convinced me.
Because the powers, like Cole said, the power system's so unique, dude. And it doesn't click for you until like the second or third episode.
Yeah.
For me, it wasn't until the third episode, although Cole kind of primed me prior.
Yeah, so I realized in episode 2 how it worked, but I didn't get to grasp the full understanding till episode 3. And then before you watch 3, I was like kind of explaining it a bit before. Man, it's cool. I was telling Jake about it, my other buddy that doesn't really watch anime, and I got him excited to try to watch it too. So it's good.
Yeah.
Good freaking show.
This is the one. If you're not watching it, this is the one.
We're pretty confident in only 3 episodes in that we can say that.
Yes.
Hopefully it doesn't poop the bed.
If it does, these first 3 episodes were worth it enough just to keep watching it.
Agreed.
Like, I had a good time with these 3 episodes where it doesn't even matter how bad it gets after this. Like, it was just an enjoyable ride at this point.
Yeah.
Well, I think it pretty much wraps the seasonal. Shall we move into our week or our previous or our book club anime, whatever we call it, the anime club?
Yeah.
Anime club show?
Before we get into Kino's journey, can I tell about my journey and then you can give the brief synopsis?
Absolutely.
So, if you watched last episode, Cole picked Kino's Journey 2003, which I did write in my notes.
Oh my gosh, you
That
wrote
makes, it makes it even worse.
Oh my gosh.
So, Cole said, yeah, we're going to watch the old one, the 2003 version. So, I wrote it down, and then for some reason, I got on Crunchyroll, which Cole also said in the episode.
Explicitly said not
He
Crunchyroll.
said in the episode, it's not on Crunchyroll, it's on High Dive. Whoosh, I don't even know where I was. I must have been high or drunk or something. And I watched the first 9 episodes of the remake.
Beautiful World.
And it was really good. I enjoyed it. And then I was talking to Cole on a drive that we took. We were going to the movies and going shopping a couple days ago. And Cole's asking me about a specific episode. And I'm like,
I didn't see that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You tried playing it off like you had seen it too. That's what's crazy.
Well, it's because in my head, I'm like, okay, we're probably around the same part because you said you had like 2 or 3 episodes left.
Yeah.
I knew that I had 2 or 3 episodes left. And I'm like, did I fall asleep during that part?
It was such a significant
Yeah.
episode too that I'm
Yes.
just like, you had to have remembered
Yes,
this.
it is. But that's at that point, that's where we figured out that I made a blunder and watched the wrong one. So, in my moment of goofery, me and our other buddy Luke, 2 days ago, as of the filming of this podcast, so we film on Sundays, spoiler, Friday night, Cole was gone, and I was like, well, I'll just watch an episode or 2, and then after about 3 episodes, our buddy Luke's like, he was watching it with me for some reason, he's just like, just keep it rolling. We watched the entire 13-episode season in one sitting. We were
And you want to know
Goblins.
something?
How late did you stay up?
It was. I think we started at 7 and we got done at like 12:30.
And the funny thing is, like, yeah, let's keep it going. In the end, he said, yeah, this sucked. I hated it.
Spoilers.
Wait, who, Luke said that?
Yeah. And I was like, and I was playing Doom Eternal, and I was playing on Ultraviolence, which is like the
Hard mode?
Yeah, hard mode. And I just said, fuck you guys. Because I was just angry already.
But see, we didn't know if he was talking about Doom or us, so we just said he's like, oh, he's talking about the
that was a
demons.
little aggressive of me, but I was very shocked that Luke didn't like it because he tends to kind of like shows like this. And I liked it. I loved it.
My favorite part about this whole like aspect is how, because there are episodes that are adapted like almost one for one from the original to the remake. I think it was like literally like 3 days after we filmed last time, Skylar was like, hey, Thane, have you got to the Coliseum episode? And you guys just chatted about the Coliseum episode like it was nothing because you'd seen it and he had also seen it, just two different versions.
But what's crazy about that, and I'll talk more about that later, but that was episode 2 of the remake, while in the first one, it's
like episode 4.
Right, but it's a 2-parter.
Yeah, it's a 2-parter. Yep. All right, let's do it now. Time to do Kino's Journey, full-on spoilers. If you don't want spoilers, this is your time to stop. Let's talk about it. The synopsis of Kino's Journey is a girl on her motorcycle Hermes driving from country to country. They live in a world where, like, everybody kind of just keeps themselves. These countries don't do anything with each other. Very rarely they do, but they can.
My theory is that, like, some kind of dystopia happened in, like, towns, like, just towns miles away, just kind of made their own sovereign, their own country. Yeah. So that's what it feels like. It just feels like a dystopia of millions of countries.
I say the word country, but Thane hit it on the nose. It's more just like a little town, honestly. They're not really countries.
With weird laws.
Weird, interesting laws. Kino will drive her motorcycle to each one of these little town countries and try and check them out for 3 days, and then just moves on to the next one. And as Thane said, they got freaking crazy, weird laws, and so shenanigans every time. They get to see weird things every time they go to these new places. That's the gist of it. Yeah. I mean, it's not really like a congruent story. Like, you could literally watch any episode in any order you want to, if I'm being completely honest. Yeah. There's no really through line, so.
No, I mean, you get Kino's backstory during an episode or two, which is fine. I don't think it's like anything riveting, but it kind of shows why she's going on her adventure.
Yeah. So, I want to talk about my favorite part of the whole show right now, and then I think it would be cool to maybe like run down episode per episode and just maybe like talk about the interesting, unique laws of each episode, just because I think it's fascinating enough to do so. So the thing I want to talk about, and this is one of my favorite parts in fiction just in general, and Kino's Journey, like, hits it right on the freaking nose. And it's the fact that problems are created that mirror real world problems, but they're done in a way that are exclusive to the world that they have built within the story. And like let me pull up episodes of Kino's Journey real quick. Like episode 1, what was episode 1 again? Kino's Journey. Sorry, I thought about this and I did not have it prepared. I apologize. Episode list. Episode 1 was The Land of Visible Pain. They only have the robots. Right. And so it's not necessarily a problem. It's more just like it's not always problems. I guess I said the word problem earlier, but like they have different like scenarios or situations that they get into that can mirror real world things, but are exclusive in a way to like the world that they've set up, right? And each place Kino would go to would have this unique, interesting problem that can mirror things in the real world that we experience, but they're solved and dealt with in ways that are exclusive to their world. I guess episode 1, honestly, is really just like a great starter to talk about, like, what is it called? A great starter to introduce you to the world of Kino's Journey, but honestly, it's not super exciting of an episode. Honestly, it's really until you get to the Coliseum that things start going like, okay, I see what we're doing. Maybe we won't go episode by episode. We'll talk about the ones that really stood out to us. Yeah. And maybe that's why in the remake they do Coliseum right away, because they know that's like the interesting, unique one.
I think my hot take, maybe it's not a hot take, but I think the remake is far better.
Yeah. I watched the remake originally, and I think I like it better, but I think it's just because I'm weird and only like newer modern animation more. So the Colosseum, they get to this place where you got like a slum / like slavish kind of people, and then like the higher society rich people, and then a Colosseum in the middle of the town where the people will come in, whether they be travelers, they be people there trying to advance from like the slums to the higher tier, and then they fight to the death, and they have a big tournament to see who wins after fighting to the death, and whoever wins gets to A, create a new law, and B, gets to become the higher echelon of society.
Yeah, the higher citizenship thing.
And so, obviously, we have the most generic problem of the real world being high class and lower class, upper class, lower class. And that's something that we obviously have in the real life. It's a real life situation problem. They introduce it in this weird, interesting way that's unique to the world, and they explore it that's in an interesting, unique way to the world, and it ends with a way that we can apply it to our world. So it's freaking cool. And it's like every episode does that in Kino, and it's so cool. I freaking love it.
I think so. I guess since we're talking about the Coliseum arc,
Yeah.
I can talk about the remake versus the original. So in the original, it's a two-parter, but at the end, when Kino is fighting the prince, spoiler, she is like aiming, and she's like, I can't remember what she says specifically in the original, but the prince kind of freaks out, and he's like, no, and she shoots, and it goes past the prince, hits the king, kills him.
Yeah.
And
she also like pulls out a thing like it
To like
turns
really
her,
modify the gun.
yeah,
to,
like turns
big
to a rocket
blast.
launcher pretty much.
And then in the remake, Kino is looking at the prince, and she says, you know who's behind you, right? And he's like, oh my gosh, you're going to do it. And then she says, duck. And then he ducks, and then she shoots, blows up the king. And then at that point, she says, citizens, I have won. Your new rule, or she says, as I won, the new rule is all of you guys have to fight to the death. Fight your neighbors, fight your friends. Whoever wins is the new king. And then just pure chaos erupts, and we see it. But in the remake, you don't see it. It's like that the scene ends, and then it cuts to Kino riding away, and then she is talking to Hermes, and then there's a little flashback to what it is. So it was a lot darker, and that's how I would describe the remake versus the original. Is the remake is way darker than the original, but also, like Cole already mentioned, the Colosseum is episode 2, but episode 1 in the remake is far more compelling than the original as well.
One. I don't remember the episode
So,
one of the remake.
Spoilers for the remake.
It's the visible pain one, yeah.
It's the first town they go to is you can commit murder.
Oh no!
Oh,
sorry.
yeah. Yes.
She's kind of like on guard, and everybody has guns and stuff, but like everybody in the city is so nice, and it's kind of advertised as this super peaceful place. But murder is allowed. You will not get arrested for murder.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's for me anyway, watching the remake, I was like, dude, it was way more compelling. Pretty much every episode has something dark, which kind of reflects, like Cole already mentioned, the real world. And it was just far more compelling than the original, in my opinion.
That's fair. I don't remember the remake too much. I watched it like almost 10 years ago now, probably 8, 6, 7 years ago, something like that. The way that I remember it was that comparatively, like just from like what I remember to what I can compare it to what I know now, is that the original was dark without showing you. You had to like read between the lines essentially, and then the remake was more like, oh yeah, like you're just watching
It's
it
in your
happen.
face.
Yeah, it's in your face, kind of dark.
And I think it's a product of its time too,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
myself included, I'm putting myself inside of the modern dayers where just show it to me, man. Like I just want to see it all.
Like you got Majora's Mask to Twilight Princess.
Yes, yeah. So I don't want to read between the. I enjoy reading between the lines. I'm going to talk about that too a little bit later. But like, just let me eat my cheeseburger, dude. Just give it to me
I
raw.
do enjoy a good cheeseburger.
So yeah. I guess another thing, since we're already talking about reading between the lines, one of my favorite parts about this show in general, when I first got done with season, the original, after I was talking to my buddy. I'm gonna equate this, or I didn't enjoy it as much, but I'm going to say that I was tired and I had literally just watched 5 hours of Kino's
Also, you were
journey.
editing.
No, I was not. I was watching the show. I wasn't editing.
Luke said you were editing. I don't know.
Maybe you
Was he
started or
lying?
something like that.
Was he gaslighting me?
You must have been, yeah. I was.
Me too.
So you were not editing. He said you were.
I can't edit and watch a show.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's like, why is he editing? I don't do that.
How dare he gaslight us?
So anyway, one of my favorite
I'm gonna have to
parts.
confront him about that.
Maybe he misspoke.
Yeah.
I don't know, or maybe he's just memeing on you. Anyway, one of my favorite parts about this too is like Cole already talked briefly about this, but the world of Kino's journey, every area feels very separate. And the idea of somebody like an adventurer is just not very heard of. People are like, wow, you're the first person that's come into our town in years. Well, in the remake, the first episode, Kino sees another adventurer. And the first thing that she does is she goes to that person, gets off her bike, and starts talking to him. Because just adventuring in and of itself is just not a thing in this world, which... Once again, it's one of those things that you kind of have to read between the lines. But in the remake, I feel like they do a better job of showing that, I guess, because right off the bat you see this adventurer, and there's payoffs to that too later on. But just in and of itself, in the world of Kino's journey, going on adventures is not a thing. People don't do it.
I mean, it's fascinating because you'd think after you learn more about the world, maybe that's why they don't, because they don't know about the world. But I was thinking if you know more about the world, you'd want to go on adventures because it's so freaking crazy and unique.
Right. I mean, that's probably what it is. Those people just don't
know. They just stay to their own place and call it a day.
Right, and that's like when I was watching it, I'm like, why would they stay in this horrible city with all these rules?
It's not horrible to
Why
them.
don't exactly? But they don't know. Ignorance is bliss.
Exactly. Yeah. It's very, very unique. One of the things that I want to talk about is one that was not in the remake, that was in the original, that like blew my freaking mind, which was the library episode.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow. We're talking about fourth wall breaks and like weird explanations of things. I don't know if they soft confirmed or confirmed if Kino was actually just like a hospital patient that was reading a book, and then her like dad or something, grandpa, put her into the world of her book and just basically put her in coma and called it a day. Like, who knows if that's actually what it was.
That was a weird one.
It was one of those episodes where I was like, man, it is tough to follow what's going on. But then it was also like, when it clicked in my brain, I thought the same thing. I'm like, oh, is that Kino?
Yeah. And then on top of that, like, they're also just like making reference to like you're watching a story right now. You, the viewer, are watching this story. Like, dude, it was the most mind-effy episode of them all, I think.
Yeah, it was. I think that episode for me solidified like, wow, this is an anime.
Yeah. And they didn't have any of that in the remake.
No.
The remake was like, you don't really, all you know about Kino is the same origin story, I believe, right? It's the same exact one pretty much, where she meets another person named Kino, and they that Kino sacrifices himself for her, and then she just takes off on her beast. Yeah. So yeah, it was pretty crazy. Like I said, lots of cool moral conundrums. It's crazy how some people just see things as okay just because they can. But then you think about the real world, and that's just literally how it is in the real world. Some people see things as okay when it's clearly not, to you anyway.
In the words of Palpatine, it's just a perspective.
I don't remember.
It's almost like we watched Star Wars Episode 3 this week.
I missed out on that because I was working.
Womp womp. That's too bad. You didn't miss much. It's still just Star Wars Episode 3.
Also, I kind of was a jerk about it and said, what are you guys talking about? It's Star Wars. Like, I don't care. And then Cole roasted me on that, and I was like,
it's too bad because
sorry,
if you just are surface level.
Last night, I apologize too.
Yeah, that was pretty hard. Besides Claire Obscure.
Oh gosh, dang! I want to play that game so bad.
If you're a surface level Star Wars fan like me, you're eating great.
True.
Opening is a whiplash, by the way. It's just like, ah.
So before we end Kino, because like we could literally talk about this for hours on hours if we really wanted to dive deep into everything. Let's just like talk about your favorite episode or your favorite conundrum or problem or whatever you want to call it. Do you have a favorite thing, Thane? Your favorite episode, your favorite conundrum?
One that shocked me because it's the last episode. We already put the spoiler tag up, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Last episode's like, oh, this is so happy, it's so nice, and you kind of know that, oh, this is probably like one of the first towns they went to. It's like, Kino, do you remember that? Also, his voice is Hermes' voice is weird because they gave it like a tomboy girl voice in the
It's
dub.
a little tinny though, at least.
Tinny. And then, but in the sub, it's just a normal dude's voice.
Yeah.
And then I think that's the same with the
I like
the reboot.
I like Hermes' voice is better in the remake.
Yeah, they have all new voice actors for that because it's like a reboot. But it's such a peaceful, nice town, everything. And it's like, you should leave. I think you should leave. Kino's like, but I want to stay a few more days. It's like, nope, just leave. She leaves. Volcano erupts and destroys the entire town. I'm just like, what? What?
Yep.
And then it's like, wow. Guess you should like really appreciate life.
That's in the remake, correct?
I don't know. So I guess another spoiler. I still have 3 more episodes of the remake that I didn't watch. I didn't watch 10, 11, and 12.
I'm fairly certain that's the same last episode in the remake. Because in my head, I'm watching this episode of the old version, the last one, and I'm like, okay, I know something happens. I don't remember. Like, do they do like a purge-like thing, or what's going on? And I kept like thinking back to the remake, episode 1, where they can just kill people, and that's where my brain was like, isn't it like a purge thing or something like that, or don't they do something crazy? Then the volcano goes. I'm like, oh yeah, I think it is the final episode.
Yeah. And they could have left. They could have evacuated, but they decided, nah, death is better. Like,
it's like Kino said it was a pride thing, and
yeah,
I get
pride. It was a pride thing. It's like, no, there's like, no, we're just gonna stay in here because like, what else is life than where we are right now? I think rather we just solidify it in lava.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and I felt like Kino, like when like she had the most reaction out of the whole series, was just this shocked face. It's like, that was me too, and I was like, why? We were so happy, and then I realized what show I'm watching, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. And I feel like was her first her first like experience with tragedy, like that happening, because like the expression on her face was like shocking. It's like because in the previous episode she saw innocent civilians just be blasted just for a game, which is also pretty shocking. But it's just like, oh, that must have been like one of her very first towns she went to. So the show is kind of told out of order, and they give you little subtle hints of that this happened before.
I think the library is probably my favorite episode, but the another one that kind of stood out to me too is just like the grandma and the robots, where she thinks she's the robot. I mean, like as soon as that episode came on and I saw that, I'm like, she's not a robot. The people are the robots. But then the robot people were just like, well,
Guess we're people.
yeah, I guess we're people now. We're just gonna appease her, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm usually the guy that doesn't see robots as life, but I've seen a lot more shows in recent time where
You need to read more Isaac Asimov, boy.
You need to really like some robots. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
we're getting there. It's 2025.
Yeah. Oh no.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
It's probably not my favorite episode. I think my favorite was probably also the library. But man, I just wanted to bring attention to the freaking railroad episode because it's just so passing by and like you don't even really think about it too much. But like, man, it's like a weird way. It's like a depiction of humanity throughout all of history. You got one guy cleaning the railroad, one guy taking apart the railroad, and one guy putting it back together, right? It's a weird circle of life kind of thing that, like, once again, like I said, it kind of emulates humanity as a whole. Like, we undo ourselves, we clean up ourselves, and we fix ourselves, and we undo ourselves again, you know? We do it. It's kind of just how it is. It's cool. It's a cool parallel to make, and, like, I don't know if this was intentional, but like railroad tracks are parallel, like parallel to real life.
One more episode I kind of liked was the religion episode where I had this book, this plate, and people interpret it in different ways. And it's like the world's gonna end tomorrow, and it's like, oh, and then it doesn't end. It's like, oh, it's gonna end in a few months, and then another priest's like, no, it's gonna end in like a few years. Yeah. And then finally there's a somebody invades the country, it's like, yeah, it said this plate says come to invade this country or something like that. It's kind of, yeah, I think that's what happens.
This show definitely makes you think a lot about life. Yeah. I believe it's episode 2 where Kino finds the frozen guys that are freezing to death and starving, and she helps them out, and then they betray her.
Yep.
Like, she's having a conversation with Hermes, and she's like, I killed this rabbit to feed these guys, but like, I don't know how I feel about it. I guess I'm just doing it because I hope that if I'm ever in that situation, somebody would do it for me.
Doesn't she say she feels sorry for the rabbit now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it's like, I don't know, dude. There's just a lot of moments in this show where it really makes you question life, or at least look under certain aspects under a microscope.
You take a step back, right?
Yeah.
You take a step back and really like picture all of these situations and how they apply to you. And it's the most easiest to try to apply to you. And I think that's, like I said, it's because you can take their situations that are fantastical and unique, and then they still have undertones of things in the real world. And it's very obvious what these undertone things are of the real world.
Yeah.
And it's cool. It's really cool. And that's why, like, I mean, that's why I was happy to watch the original series and bring it back up. It makes me want to rewatch the remake again.
I like the vibe, this vibe that these shows don't have anymore, like the very atmospheric vibe.
I think the remake does it too. That's the same kind of vibe I got from the remake when I watched it back in the day. So if you ever want to watch it
and also
again,
rest in peace director. He also did Serial Experiments Lane.
Yeah.
He died a few years back, so I would have his name, but I don't remember. But yeah, yeah, I liked it. It was one of those shows back in the day on like 4chan's anime board that said, it's peak, it's Kino, you gotta watch it.
It's Kino.
Yeah, I don't know if they talked much about they probably hated, knowing them, they probably hated the reboot.
A lot of people did. A lot of people didn't like it because they're purists.
Yeah, they're purists, yeah. But I'd say have an open mind, give it a chance. In fact, Reddit says watch both. It's 24 episodes combined, just watch both. Yeah. And I'm thinking, this might be a theory, but I'm feeling that this original was like 12 episodes, that's it. And then maybe the remake was supposed to go on.
I think there's 13 episodes.
13, whatever.
Yeah.
And the remake was supposed to go on, but we never got a sequel. Maybe it's also 12, but like the novel is like 20 novels. Like you can make a whole show about this.
Well, that's what's fun about the remake too, is because they didn't adapt to everything. Like you're getting different stories if you watch both of them.
Yeah.
So that to me is fun. It's like getting a whole nother show or another season of it.
Well, gentlemen, I think our camera is about to overheat. So, final thoughts. Kino is great.
Kino is Kino.
Well, Kino is great.
Kino is Kino. I would give it like
a German word for cinema.
I'd give it like a 9 personally. There were some episodes where I was kind of iffy on, but I'd give it like a 9.
It's a 9. It's a 9 show.
I think I'm like the original. I think I'm like an 8. I think the remake I'm like a 9.
That's good. That's fine.
Well, it's that time. Thane, you have a show for us to watch over the next 2 weeks. What
after
do you got?
I got done watching Kino's Journey, I'm like, I want to pick the next show, but it's like I'm itching to watch it right now. So I've already watched a few episodes.
Fair.
But it's a show called Record of Lodoss War, specifically the OVA from 1990, which is this is the oldest show we have on this show, and it's Lodoss as an Lodoss.
Record of Lodoss War.
Yeah, Lodoss. Lodoss.
L-O-D,
Yeah.
spell it again.
Lodoss.
Lodoss.
Yeah. And it's a fantasy. Like, you could probably tell by the name, but it's a fantasy. Like a D&D type fantasy. It's, after watching a few episodes, it's definitely aged in some ways, but I think it's just going to be a fun fantasy romp.
Awesome.
That's it. It's nothing deeper. Like, unlike Kino's Journey, it's nothing that deep, but... Yeah.
Well, that's what we'll be watching over the next 2 weeks. Record of Lodoss War. We'll see y'all then. Enjoy watching the show. Have a great life.
And put 1990.
I did.
1990.
I did.
Not Chronicles of the Heroic Knight. That's the sequel.
See you guys.
See ya.